Hey guys, it's Jen. Welcome back to my channel. Today's video is a review video of the new JOAH Beauty products that launched at CVS back in August. Originally, when they first launched, the brand sent me a bunch of products and I did do a swatch video. So everything in the video has already been swatched, so I'm not going to show swatches again in this video. I'm going to do a try on though. So if you want to see swatches of everything, definitely check that video out after this one. But today I'm just going to talk about how the products perform now that I've had a chance to try everything. And even though the brand did send me a lot of products, which I was so happy about, there were a few products that were missing in order to complete a full face, like mascara and concealer. So I did go and purchase a few of these products myself. But basically there are a lot of hits, a lot of misses. So I have a lot to talk about today. Let's just jump right in. So first up, let's start with primer. And I got the Glow Activator Radiance Primer. There are 4 primers in the line. There's a pore minimizing one, a mattifying one, a hydrating one, and then this one. So this one claims to prime and moisturize skin and provide an even finish under makeup and help makeup stay put longer, leave skin feeling fresh and hydrated with a smooth, radiant finish. It says it's infused with real luminous 24 karat gold flakes. So yes, there are little gold flecks in this formula, and I was a little bit nervous that they were going to show up as glitter on my skin. And when you first put this on, you can see them. They're not everywhere, but I would see like one over here, one over here. They're kind of in random spots. Once you put foundation on though, you don't see it at all. So I'm not quite sure the reason for it being in the formula, because I don't really see them on my skin once I cover up with foundation and concealer. So I don't know, I guess it's just sort of like a little fun thing that they did. So this feels extremely hydrating. It's sort of like the Smashbox Original Photo Finish Primer. It has that silicone feel, but it also feels a little bit almost like a face oil once it melts in. It's super hydrating. If you have dry skin, I think you'll love this. If you have oily skin, you're probably going to want to go with one of their other primers, because I have a feeling this is just going to make things slide right off. As I said, there's like an oily component to it, which my skin happens to love. And as far as blurring pores and fine lines, I feel like this does an okay job with that, but I feel like this is mostly just to sort of hydrate and plump up your skin and smooth it out, but it's not necessarily going to fill in the pores like a pore minimizing primer would. So they do have one of those in the line. If that's something that concerns you a bit more, I would check that one out. This one, as I said, I think this is more just to give drier skin types a little bit of a glow and to moisturize and smooth out a little bit. And then for foundation, I'm using the Truly Yours Natural Finish Foundation Drop in the shade 120 Ivory. This comes in 8 shades, so it's not a really wide range of colors, but this one matches me pretty well. This says in the description, look flawless and ready with a little boost from Yours Truly. Lightweight coverage foundation enhances your complexion in every way, hydrating, brightening, smoothing, accentuating your youthful glow, you name it. So this is one of those drop foundations, which is more like a serum texture. It's very liquidy. It goes on really nicely. I would agree that it does have a natural finish that's slightly toward the matte side. So it can, I think, be a little bit drying if you have drier skin. Right now, because the weather is still warm where I live, my skin is more like on the normal to dry side, so I don't have dry patches, but I could see this clinging to dry patches because it feels like some other foundations that I've tried in the past that did do that in the wintertime. But right now, I really love the way this looks on my skin. I think it looks just like my natural skin, and it sits very nicely. It doesn't sink into fine lines. It doesn't make my pores look bigger. And I would say that it's a solid medium coverage foundation. You can build it up, definitely, but I don't find that I need to. A medium coverage is usually pretty good for me. So overall, I like this one. And then next up, we have concealer, and they have 2 different versions. They have the Dark Circle Concealer as well as the Full Cover Concealer. I bought both of them because I wasn't sure which one I was going to like better. I have to say I definitely like the Dark Circle Concealer better. This one has a little sponge tip applicator that reminds me of the Maybelline Age Rewind, and the formula reminds me of that as well. It's a lighter coverage concealer. I would say it's sheer to medium. You can build it up, but it covers what I need it to cover. If you have really dark circles, you might need something a little bit stronger than this, but for me, it actually brightens my under eye area. It doesn't sink into fine lines. It's extremely skin-like in its finish, so it doesn't make my under eye look older. It actually makes my under eye look smoother. I didn't even know that that was possible with a concealer. but somehow it just makes the skin under my eyes look smoother. I've been wearing this concealer every day since I got it, and I think I got it about 3 weeks ago. I'm really, really loving this one, and I have this shade Porcelain. Unfortunately, the full cover concealer I didn't have the same results with. That one is a thicker concealer that comes in a tube, and it went on very, very patchy under my eyes. It looked cakey. It was pretty awful. I'm going to put up side-by-side photos so you can see the dark circle concealer, which is on the left-hand side, and then the full cover concealer on the right, and you can see how my under eye area looks in that full cover photo. It's not pretty. So, but as you can see on the left-hand side, the dark circle concealer, it really makes my under eye look so smooth. I love it so much. I highly, highly recommend this one. And then next up for like blush and bronzer, I have the Be My Everything Blush and Bronze Palette. This is $13.99. It comes in 2 different shades, Sunrise and Sunset. So Sunrise is for like lighter skin tones, and then Sunset is a little bit deeper. And it says it includes highlighter, blush, and bronzing powders to brighten contour and add a healthy glow. Highlight on top of your cheekbones, brush blush on the apples of your cheeks, and finish all over with a dusting of bronzer, and you will look radiant. So I love this. When I did my swatch video, I was really, really impressed with just the colors and how soft the powder was. And as I've been using it, I really do like this. The bronzer is a nice neutral bronzer. It's not overly warm or orange, and it's not like a cool toned or a red bronzer either. I normally prefer them a little bit on the cooler side, but this one worked pretty well for me because it goes on pretty sheer, so it's kind of hard to mess it up. And then the blush is just this really, really beautiful peachy pink color. It's super flattering. It has a tiny bit of radiance to it, but nothing that's crazy or that's gonna make texture on your cheeks visible. It's really, really nice, and I like to actually swirl all the colors together and apply that as a blush, and it's a really beautiful color. So I am impressed with this one. I like it. It's actually the most expensive product in their line, I believe. It's $13.99. But I think it's worth it. It reminds me a lot of some more expensive versions, like It Cosmetics makes one very similar to this. And to be honest, I don't notice a whole lot of difference between the two. So definitely a good buy if you like products like this. Next we have the Be My Everything Highlighter Palette, and this one is also $13.99. Also comes in 2 shades, light and medium. I have the light one that I'm wearing today, and this says 3 shimmery highlighters give your skin a radiant, diamond bright glow. Weightless, finely milled powder blends seamlessly into skin for a healthy highlight in just the right places. Use one highlighter at a time or blend them together to accentuate your cheek. So the one thing that kind of shocked me about this when I went to do my swatch video is that these powders almost feel like creams. They have a really strange, very weightless texture, and I was trying to figure out, is this a cream? Is this a powder? I'm not sure. They're definitely powders, but they're like incredibly finely milled, so they just glide on so seamlessly. So you're not going to get like that really chunky texture that some highlighters have. They're so super smooth and seamless on the skin. I think these are just so nice, and I like that they have 2 different versions because I can buy the light palette and use every single color. A lot of brands will just come out with one highlighting palette and it has some light colors and some deep colors, and there are ones that, you know, you're never going to use. But with this one, I feel like I can use every single color, so I think it's definitely worth the money. And then one face product that I really was not too keen on was the Be My Everything Powder Contour Palette. This is also $13.99, comes in 2 shades, light and medium, and it just confuses me, this product, because the colors in here, as you'll see, I'll put them up on the screen, they don't really make a lot of sense. I mean, they have a highlighter here, but it actually looks darker than the color that they're calling bronze. And the bronzer is just this funny kind of yellow color. It almost looks like it might be more of a banana powder. And then the contour shade in this light palette just is a little too warm. It's like a bronzer, I would say, versus a contour color. Normally a contour color is supposed to be more of like a grayish or taupe color because you're supposed to be mimicking a shadow, and shadows are gray. So really it's just a very confusing palette to me overall, and it's definitely a no on this one. And then moving on to eyes, they have 2 different birthday suit eyeshadow palettes. Unveiled, which I'm wearing today, and that has some really pretty like neutral browns and gold in it. And then Bare, which is more of like a rosier toned. It It has rosy browns and like a red color, burgundy color. So they're both really, really pretty. They both have 6 shades each and they're $9.99. I would say that these eyeshadows are very easy to work with, especially if you are a beginner. They're pigmented, but they're not crazy pigmented. So they're easy to blend out on your eyes. They're extremely soft. They pick up with a brush very easily. As you can probably see in the clip of me applying it, they definitely pack a punch when they go onto your lids. Lasting power is pretty good. They're a little bit on the softer side, so if you want them to grip longer throughout the day, I would use a primer with them, but I didn't use a primer today and they still go on just as nice without a primer. I just think they don't last quite as long throughout the day without it. I would say the only downside to these palettes is that if you like to have a couple of matte shades to work with, they don't have that. The Unveiled palette has 1 matte shade and the rest are all shimmer, so it makes it kind of tough to create a full eye look with it or multiple eye looks. And then the Unveiled palette, which I'm wearing today, does have 2 mattes, which makes it a little bit easier, but I kind of wish the brow bone highlight was a matte instead of a shimmer. I think it would be a little bit easier, but this one has a matte transition and then a matte outer corner or like liner shade, which is the deepest brown. But overall, I think that maybe adding just 1 more matte shade per palette would have made them just a little bit better. But otherwise, I think for a cute drugstore palette, they're pretty good. And then for brows, they do have quite a few different brow pencil options. This is the Precision Brow Pencil, which is like the really skinny pencil, but they have a regular like automatic twist up. They have a wooden brow pencil. They even have a brow pencil and gel combo, which is something that I love. I love the one from Soap and Glory, and I wish I had seen that at CVS because I probably would have bought it, but they did send me this one, and this is the Precision Brow Pencil, so it's the little skinny one. They sent it to me in the shade Brunette, which is a little bit darker than I normally use. I typically use the blonde pencils because they have a little bit more of an ashy tone to them, but this one actually isn't bad. It's not a warm brown. It's a nice ashy brown. I think it's just a little bit dark. So my brows might look a little darker than they normally do, but I wouldn't say it's necessarily a bad color. I like this pencil. I like the way that it goes on. It's not too creamy, but it's not too firm either. So I find it really easy to make the little hair-like strokes without it smudging all over the place and without having to press too hard. It's like that perfect in between. So I think this is actually a really good brow pencil, and I think I'm gonna go back and grab it in the Cool Taupe, and I might also try that double-ended one as well because I love the convenience of those. With this one, it just has the little spoolie on the other side, so that's useful, but I like to have the gel because my brow hairs kind of try to point downward and I like to brush them up and have something to hold it there. So after I use this, I have to go in and use a separate brow gel just to keep them held up in place. So that's really the only drawback to this, but I will definitely grab that other one, and in a future haul video or something, I'll let you guys know how I like it. And then for eyeliner, I'm using the I'm So Fly Liner Felt Tip Liquid Eyeliner, and they have a bunch of different liners on their site. This one is a felt tip, so it has the tip that doesn't move, and I actually prefer the brush tips where they're a little bit bendy. It's just easier for me. I know it's totally personal preference, and a lot of people prefer the stiffer one, but I always feel like I'm gonna mess up my wing with these. So I didn't do the best job on my eyeliner today, and I feel like these maybe go on a little bit thicker than I want them to. I have hooded eyes, and I like to draw the absolute thinnest line possible so it doesn't take up a lot of lid space, what little lid space I do have. So they do actually have an ink pen eyeliner on their website that looks like it might be the brush tip, so I'm gonna go back and definitely try that one. I wouldn't say this is a bad liner by any means. It goes on very black. It's long lasting. It's just that for me, I don't particularly like this style of liquid liner, but other than that, I think it did a nice job. It didn't skip around or anything, so seems like a pretty decent liner. It's just, as I said, not really like my personal preference. And then when it comes to mascaras, I got 2 different ones to try out. They had 4 of them in store, and it was so hard to choose between them. They had the Volume and Define Mascara, the Ultra Volume, which I got, the Volume and Curl, and then the Volume and Lengthening, which I also got. So the Ultra Volume one that I got claims to be one of those tubing mascaras, so it's not going to flake off. It just comes off in little tubes at the end of the night. I love those because they don't smudge, but I didn't see any ultra volume from this mascara. I felt like the formula was a little bit lackluster in that it just gave my lashes like the tiniest little bit of oomph, but they looked pretty natural, and I love a really big, voluminous, almost slightly clumpy false lash look, and that just kind of fell flat for me, so I didn't enjoy that one. But then the volume and lengthening mascara, which I'm wearing today, I actually really do like. This one is also a tubing formula, and it has little fibers in the formula that you can see when you look at the brush up close, and they attach to your lashes and make them extra long. It's not a clumpy formula, so it's more for those days when you want just like really long, fluttery lashes. And that's something that I do like too. It just depends on the eye look I'm going for. Usually when I have a more natural eye look like I do today, I want something just like this. I want those really long, fluttery lashes with a little bit of volume. And if I'm going for more of like a smoky eye or a little bit heavier of an eyeshadow look, then I go for more of like that really volumized, clumpier look. Another great thing about this is that it feels very lightweight. It almost feels like nothing going on your eyes. So it's not one of those really wet, heavy formulas, but it's not dry either. It's just really easy to work with. Definitely like this one a lot. And then last but not least, we have lip products. And I got a bunch of them from JOAH to try out. They were all matte lipsticks though, and they do have a lot of matte finish lip products in this line, from stains to matte liquid lipstick. These I'm Your Jelly Bay lipsticks have a matte finish, and then they have like these liquid satin lipsticks that actually are kind of matte, and then I think they have one gloss and like a tinted balm, and those are the only ones that are a little bit more hydrating. So for me, someone who doesn't like matte lipsticks most of the time, I have really dry lips, it was kind of hard to find lip products from this line that I liked. I actually, when I went to CVS, they didn't have the lip glosses out yet. Otherwise, I would have tried one of those. They did have the tinted balms, but the colors just look a little bit funky to me. There was none that stood out that I really wanted to try. So today I'm wearing the I'm Your Jelly Bay matte gel lipstick in the honey shade. I do like these, even though they're a matte finish. I think they sit comfortably on your lips and they're not heavy. They don't feel like anything. It feels like completely weightless. And they do keep my lips feeling pretty soft for a matte lipstick. As long as I've exfoliated before I use these, I'm fine, I'm good to go. I don't think that they're overly drying. The others though are pretty drying for me. The Infinite Kiss satin liquid lipsticks are a no-go. I felt like they accentuated every line in my lips, and just, even though they're not technically a matte, they're supposed to be satin, I thought they would be a little bit more hydrating, but they just sort of sat on top of my lips and just looked cakey throughout the course of the day, so I really was not a fan of those. And also the What a matte liquid lipsticks. These are, you know, they're a matte liquid lipstick, and I'm just not a fan of those in general. I think if you are, you might like this one, but I also want to mention that all of their lip products have sort of that like rosy, florally kind of scent to them, so I'm not a big fan of that either. It's not super strong to the point where I'm getting a headache from it. There's been other brands like L'Oreal, I think in particular, some of their older lipsticks, just I could not wear them because they were so headache inducing. This one seems to fade pretty quickly once it's on your lips, but I just want to mention that because I know a lot of people are not a fan of those like florally kind of scents in their lip products, so just please keep that in mind. But again, I swatched all of these lipsticks, not all of them, but the Infinite Kiss, the What a Matte, and the I'm Your Jelly Bay lipsticks in my swatch video. So if you want to see all the colors and kind of how these go on, you could definitely check that out. But overall, between these three, I feel like the Jelly Bay ones are probably my favorite. The other two, not so much. Alright guys, so those are my thoughts on the new JOAH Beauty line at CVS. Overall, I think it is a really cute brand, and I liked many of the products even though there were some misses in there. And I definitely will go back and try out some of the other products because it's a pretty big range and they do have a ton of things that I still want to try. So stay tuned for that. If you guys want to see more JOAH reviews, definitely let me know in the comments below. And also, if you've tried any of these products, I would love to hear your thoughts on them. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe and give this video a thumbs up if you liked it. Thanks guys, and I'll see you next time.